Hey YouTubers, Christopher Wanamaker here doing a new updated video on utility bill life hacks, hints, tips, and tricks for different areas of your home to save money in utility bills such as electric, heating, water, garbage, and maybe a couple other areas as well. Possibly looking at newer generation, off-grid capabilities, especially for those in like tiny houses, yurts, or who just want to go a little bit more off-grid and maybe not use all the major appliances that are in your homes. So we're going to go over a variety of different things, and I will be going into some detail on a couple of subjects from my personal experiences of traveling the world and being in multiple different apartments and different homes, and being in the military, and how, what hints, tips, and tricks have I learned over time to save money in areas of electricity, heating, cooling, water, garbage, and possibly some other areas. So the first thing we can go over is the foam pipe covers. You can get, this is just a small cut up version. They usually come pretty long. For a couple of pack from like Walmart or Fred Meyer's or something like that is usually like $2. And these can be used for several different things, not only to wrap around your pipes under your sink or bathroom sink or kitchen sink, to try to warm them up and make it where they don't freeze during the winter time, but they can also have other functions, such as at the bottom of your door, slide it under, and if there is any kind of gap or a good amount of air, it's not a really solid closed, seal it in the door frame. In my last apartment in Colorado Springs, I had that issue both mostly at the bottom of my front door, and then somewhat near where the door handle and bolt lock were, and they worked on it a little bit. It was improved, but then I had to get one of these, cut some holes in it, and then put glue it in there, and it helps seal it up and make it where not so much either cold air during the wintertime came in, or the heat from the inside of my apartment escaped out. So that is one option. These things work really well, and they're like $1 or $2 for a pack at most stores. Other things that can be done, there are different material items out there. My mom used it when I was younger, and I know there are newer versions of this, like window tinting, where it's almost like aluminum, shiny on the outside and then darker on the inside, and you put it up in your windows so that way light can come in, but it's like almost like a tinted window material, and so it reflects most of the UV rays back out, so a little bit light comes through, but no heat really comes through the windows. And then, to improve upon that even more, whether that's keep the heat in during the winter time, the cold out, or vice versa, keeping the cool air in and the heat out when it's the summertime. Another thing you can do for the windows themselves is pretty much get thick blinds. So then, you close the blinds. Maybe you have that tinted window stuff, to do a combo with that, and then thick, energy-efficient curtains that you can get, from like Bed Bath & Beyond, good high quality, just, whatever style you want, color and everything. And then another thing, whether you want to do curtain rods for the curtains, or, go cheap like I do and just do like push pins in 2 to 3 places on the very top, and then I'll get like those snap, spring-loaded chip clips for the chip bags, and pull up the curtain, put a chip clip. That's what I do in my mom's bedroom, and then pull up the blinds and all that kind of stuff. So, but if you do the combination of those things, you spend a little bit of money in that area, then you can make your windows energy efficient, whether it's cold air stays out and the heat stays in during the winter time, or during the summertime, the heat stays out, and from hopefully your fan or air conditioner, the cool air stays inside during the summertime. So it's all about doing these little hints, tips, and tricks, and a couple different items comboed together. They enhance each other. So so after that, let's go into talking about different heating and cooling usage systems. In my last apartment, I had a thermometer on the wall, like I do here as well, but it was central heating and air. And it was wintertime when I first, moved into the apartment in Colorado Springs. And after about 2 whole months of, using the central heating, which is a very good system, and it, really balances whether it's really cool or really hot within your apartment over the year. It definitely uses a lot of electricity. And then so about 2 months later, I went to Lowe's. Not only did I use veterans discounts, but also like Christmas coupons combined together. I bought a kind of like this right here. It was a fireplace, 2 LED light with remote control, wooden, almost looked like a bookshelf, wooden fireplace LED heater with remote and with wheels at the bottom that can be taken off. It was a $350 fireplace space heater that I got for 50% off. So I bought for $175 using military discount combined with holiday coupons. That's another little trick. If you want to buy more expensive items, wait until certain holidays like Labor Day or or Mother's Day sales or Veterans Day, Memorial Day sales. Wait until the certain holidays, and then you can get certain sales and get things cheaper and save money. So there's another little trick there. But so I got a $350 LED light that does orange and does low, medium, high brightness, and also a bluish color with the orange as well, with remote control and all that. And it's a space heater that warmed up 1,000 square feet. My apartment in Colorado Springs was 520, so I had a space heater that warmed up double my space, so it definitely worked. As soon as I purchased that, I noticed like a month later, my energy bill of what I was using for heating got cut, decreased by 60%. So yes, central heating and air, and maybe even that little air conditioner that I have here in my living room for this apartment. It's not central, it's just located in the living room area. They're good systems, but they definitely use more electricity. So if you want to go cheaper with electricity, not only maybe get a different system that does the same thing but use less electricity, it's more energy efficient. Do your research on that. But then another thing I would suggest is also use heaters and air conditioners sparingly. Do not run air conditioners or heaters for freaking 12 hours a day. There was a process during the summertime that I came up with in Colorado, and it was a little bit more effective in Colorado Springs because you have the Rocky Mountains right there to the west. So when the sun is setting by about 5-6 p.m., the sun is behind the mountains, so what I would do is, it's cool in the morning and everything, open up the windows, open up the doors or whatever, get it cool in here, and then as soon as it starts to feel a little warm or whatever, shut the doors, shut the windows, shut the blinds, shut the energy efficient curtains, and then run the fans or whatever, maybe even my DIY bucket air conditioner, which I'll go over here in a minute, and pretty much, and then it's going to slowly start increasing in temperature. But then by the time it's getting pretty warm, like mid 80s, it's already about 4 p.m. Well, if the sun goes behind the Rocky Mountains by 5:36, then you only have 90 minutes to 2 hours to kill. So right around 4 p.m., when it's warm enough, mid 80s in your home, that's when I turn on the central air conditioning and only run it for about 90 minutes to 120 minutes, 2 hours. And pretty much it cooled down my apartment. Once I felt like it was starting to warm up again, I didn't need to turn on the air conditioning. All I did was open up the doors and windows and have a good airflow going. And then once it's getting cold at night again, shut the windows and all that kind of stuff. Have blankets on hand, have the fan going and everything. So there's processes you can do of using Mother Nature outside at the right time. And then when you go and purchase certain items, it's kind of like purchasing LED light bulbs, and so it's going to cost you more for these, and then installing all them, but then they will pay for themselves in the long run and save you more money in in using electricity. It's kind of the same process. You go purchase certain things when it comes to the windows and how airflow and all this and air conditioning, all that. You don't need to be the person, I'm going to turn up the thermostat, or turn it down for cooling for the summer, and I'm going to leave it on for 10 or 12 hours, and then it's all about fine tuning everything. You get into a home, you learn what your utility bills are and how everything works, and once you get comfortable with it, okay, look at it like every quarter of the year. It's like spring cleaning, fine tuning your finances, fine tuning your process, cleaning out your closet of clothes that you don't wear anymore, cleaning out your computer desks and your kitchen cabinets of items that are just sitting there in the cabinets or the drawers and collecting dust because you never use them. So then it's like, okay, am I going to try to sell it or like offer up or something, put it online and try to either trade it for something or get it for money, or am I going to donate it after it doesn't sell for a long time? Same thing with artwork on the walls. Oh, I want to change things out. It's all about fine tuning your home, your process, your cupboards, and even your finances every now and then. Because there are a lot of people, especially I would say probably a little bit more elderly people, who still pay for cable and satellite and Xfinity or Comcast or whatever is massively charging in for these huge packages, when most young people are probably paying no more than $60 a month, if that, by paying for basic internet and just using internet capabilities, or using a smart TV and paying for only very specific channels using the smart TV process. My mom has a smart TV, is connected to the Wi-Fi, and pretty much is paying less than $20 a month for 2 different channels, and each of those specific channels, like CBS and stuff or Paramount, has like 100 different TV series and 100 to 200 movies on them already for her to watch. So, it's all about fine-tuning everything. So, anyway, with central heating and air, when it came to the summertime, that was my process. So during the summertime, I only used the central air system in my last apartment, Colorado Springs, for 90 minutes to 2 hours max. I did not use it for 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 12 hours a day, which would had my electric bill go through the freaking roof. I went from about, at the very beginning, I was right around 55 to 57 watts on average a month, to about 14. That was a pretty major, significant drop. My electric bill cut down by like 60%. So then with the opposite, instead of air conditioning for the wintertime for the heating, I pretty much didn't use the central heating because it used too much electricity. I had the remote control LED light, electric heater, and then I had a little tiny space heater as well. It was about this size right here. And I just use that in my bedroom. So very, very nice process. And now in my current apartment, this was built into my current apartment in Ridgefield, Washington. And so these LED light space heaters built into the wall. There's no remote to it, unfortunately. It's 2 little buttons for just the LED light, and then another button to turn on the heater. And my actual wooden fireplace with remote control space heater that I bought from Lowe's is actually in my bedroom. I live in a 1-bedroom apartment and all that, but my mom currently lives with me while COVID-19 is going on. She has MS, so I'm her caregiver and all that, so I get paid by the state to take care of her. I gave my room up to her. The only thing I really use it for is to store blankets and sheets and my clothes, and so it's her space now. And I had an old entertainment center because I have this right here. I didn't need it for my TV, so I took off the wheels and I put it in the center of all the way around entertainment center. Took off the wheels, put it there in the center, plugged it in, and she has a remote control Velcro to the backboard of her headboard of the bed. So easy access and everything. So, and she loves using it, makes it feel very homey in there. So, that's what I do when it comes to the heating and stuff, on top of combining it with, thick blinds and energy efficient curtains. So, how do you keep the hot air more condensed in, like a closed off bubble? And the same thing, how do you keep the cooler in during the summertime and keep the heat out? Those are my processes. And then on top of that, there are also high quality fans as well. So let's get into a few other things, such as this. This was a bit of an experiment. I saw these things on other YouTube videos that just kind of got into it. And this is a 5 gallon bucket, a DIY do-it-yourself air conditioner. I had to get this 2¼ inch electric cylinder saw, and I have a plug-in electric Black & Decker drill, and pretty much so. And then the first time around, I had to I used spray foam on the inside, and that just made a mess. And so then I instead went on the Lowe's.com website. They don't sell them in stores, but they do sell them online for a pack of 3 with lids of these cylinder foam coolers. So I took all the foam stuff that I had in there, the spray foam that was a mess, put that in there, and then took this 2¼ inch diameter cylinder saw blade, cut both into the bucket and through the foam cooler inside. And then I got 3-inch PVC pipe with a 2¼ inch diameter, and I stick that in there in 3 different places. And then I try to get the strongest desk fan I could find. This is Vornado. I love Vornado fans. I really stand by Vornado over almost any other fan. They even have some classic 1950s metal retro style. They're pretty cool. Cut out the very top of the lid where this would fit in perfectly, and then to come up with the perfect ice combo. You can't get those like solid plastic that has gel material that you throw in the freezer and throw a bunch of those in there. But instead of having to constantly clean up the mess of throwing ice in there and then emptying it out when it's all melted, what I did instead is I took the Almond Breeze container, because it's thicker plastic than a milk jug, cut off the handle portion. I did this, I made 2 of these, fill it up with water, let it freeze overnight, and then you just take it and put it inside where the foam is. The trick to this DIY heater is pretty much strong fan and good insulation. That's what you need to make this work. And then of course you just put the fan in the top lid, plug it in, turn it on. The stronger the fan, the better. And then that blows out, and that can last for about 90 minutes to 2 hours. Depending on the area volume, the square footage of the room you're trying to warm up. This is too big of a room, so this kind of thing is more better for a smaller bedroom or something. Otherwise, for a living room, and maybe even it's a living room kitchen combo, you're gonna need 2 or 3 of these to take the place of an air conditioner. This right here is anywhere from to do all of this is $70 to $100 worth. And so pretty much, and I've seen people use normal coolers as well and do a similar process, fan in the top, and then the PVC pipe or some kind of like stretchy hose thing or whatever. Some people are actually selling unique desk air conditioners and cooler air conditioners online too. So, but what this really does is for a small room is I do it for my mom in her bedroom, because there's an air conditioner system here in the living room where I'm sleeping on a really thick mattress futon, and she has the bedroom, but there's no air conditioner in there. It's not central air. So to help a cooler, I got the remote control double-sided fan for a window. You put it in the windowsill, whether it goes fully in and out, or both exhausting out if it's too hot in there to suck out all the hot air. But then I put this in there as well with the ice, and it may not fully keep the room, like an air conditioner cold, but it'll make it where it doesn't get as hot in there as quickly. It'll make it where it stays, 1 to 2 degrees cooler per hour than it would increase without this in there. So, it's a unique little thing. It was a good little project for me to do. If you want to look at other devices that are coming out, little table, desk, dresser, handheld air conditioners for about $40-50. You can get the Arctic Air Pure Chill Cube. Put either ice cold water or water with a little bit small ice in there, and I hear that works pretty decently. You're good for nightstands right by a bed too. And for $280 right now, there's the Ice Breeze, and that's like a cooler system on wheels with this like almost like vacuum accordion tube thing that sticks up and stays and everything, and blow at different angles and throw full bags of ice and stuff in there. That's about $280. So there's some ideas for you there. Let's see. Okay. Off-grid tools. If you want to look at more, newer things that are for going off-grid. Um, you could, of course, for heating, fireplace and a stove. For solar, you could. There are a lot of, of course, normal solar panels, but there are some unique ones coming out as well. Like a pricier one, I think is up in the $20,000 range. Was one called Smart Flower, and it's actually a system. It has an arm thing. It detects when there's rain or wind or hail happening, anything like that. Well, otherwise, it detects when the sun is fully out, and then it pops up. And then it has this system with multiple layers of solar panels that look like flower petals almost. And then they, undo themselves into a full circle, and it looks like a sunflower almost. And then it even moves and it goes with where the sun angle is to get the best, most efficient. One of those things can power an entire house. It's pretty amazing technology. I wouldn't mind having one for like my future tiny house and stuff. Let's see, if you're near a river, waterfall, small, good flowing creek or whatever, there's some new hydro off-the-grid systems. One is ID Energy. It's IDENERGIE. That's one system, and another one is Water Odor. WATEROTOR. Look those up. They were featured on a Facebook page called Interesting Engineering. So there's that. For you do washer and dryers, that's some off-grid ideas for those. Maybe during the spring and summertime when it's nice out. Don't use the dryer at all for electricity. Create like a 4x4, T-post, double-sided. So two different T-posts across from each other, pretty much clothesline with clothes hangers. Use Mother Nature heat and airflow to dry your clothes out. So that's one idea. Also, if you want to start looking for off-grid capabilities for washers and dryers that are coming out, there are several different types that are coming out. For $70, and it's a hand cranker that's like this. It's almost like butter churning. It's called Easy Wash. It has suction cups on the bottom, and it's a tube, a cylinder tube, and then you put the lid on it, and it's a washer, and you crank it like that, a couple minutes and all that. Another washer, a Gentle Wash. It almost looks like a laundry tub with a horizontal cylinder in it with holes in it, and it's a hand crank like this. It's called Gentle Washer from gentlewasher.com. That's $350 hand crank washer. Urigo Drummy. This is a cylinder tube with a sphere inside of it. Looks like a cheese grater sphere, and hold 1 to 2 whole persons worth of clothes, and it's a foot pedal system, and then you drain it from like a shower drain. That's YIREGO, and then Drummy, DRUMI. That's about $240 washer. There are some newer dryer system. One is called Morris. That's $550. It's like a desk or countertop, dryer system plug-in. And then Nina Soft, and there's a small, medium, large version. Spin dry dryer, drain it to a bowl or a shower drain, and depending on small, medium, large, that's anywhere from $140 to $220, and the large version can hold up to 22 pounds of laundry. So there's some washer dryer off-grid ideas for newer things that are coming out other than doing a normal washer. There's the dual washer and dryers, and I have no idea how much those are. Their variety of prices. So there's all of that. When it comes to fans, me and my brother, older brother, actually had a bit of an argument a couple of summers ago about this, because I love Vornado fans. This is my second generation newer Vornado stand fan. I love them. They're amazing. As long as you take good care of them, don't trip over them, kick them, beat them with a baseball bat or golf club. They last a long time. They're super strong and powerful, really reliable, really strong force of wind. But he just keeps wasting money on the $18 Walmart box fans. They're a piece of crap. Cheapest fans in the world, in my opinion. It should be illegal to sell them. and he just keeps buying one after another after another after another, probably 5 or 6 of them a year. And so I, did the math one time. Like, so I spent $80 at one time for the first generation stand Vornado fan, which lasted me over 12 years, and I only spent $80. He spends $18 per piece of crap, a very thin plastic box fan, and about 5 to 6 of them a year for 12 years. So he wasted $600 to $800 in box fans over 12 years when I spent 80. Then I try to give him a, because I bought myself a newer generation one from Bed Bath & Beyond. I think this is right around the $150 range, and gave him my old first generation version, other than a few pieces in the grill were slightly broken. It was still a good fan, and it lasted him 6 months because he has anger issues. When he gets pissed off, he grabbed it and bashed it on the ground. So, that's why I don't like getting him nice things anymore, because he can't take care of them. So, but I personally, like, if you have to save your money and suffer through the hot heat for a little while in order to save up the money, or go get a side job doing plasma donation and making extra money or something to save up to get the higher quality fan instead of wasting your money on the piece of crap plastic fans, that's what my recommendation would be. Vornado, or like those wind fans with remote control with multiple different speed settings, and can it go, both in, both out, or in and out. I would highly recommend those for the windows as well. Good quality stuff. Another thing I would definitely tell you about, in my last utility bill life hack video, I talked about a newer 21st century generation air conditioner that was coming out with a lot of claims to it. It was a Kickstarter thing it was originally called Noria, and now it's called Capsule. And I just watched a video on it of someone who got it 1 year ago, and did a review, a box opening review on it, and he pretty much said, other than being able to pull it out and store it in, like, underneath a bed or whatever, all their other claims on it for a $600 newer generation air conditioner, it was all crap. They lied on this, that, and the other. They said it uses less electricity, it's more energy efficient, it uses the same as a normal air conditioner, it's just as heavy as a normal one, it could be even louder, it filled up with water very quickly after a couple hours of usage. The mounting system for the window was crap. He had to drill into his own window seal to keep it in place, so avoid the Noria Capsule. One big thing I would definitely suggest, in order to, if you're looking at new products and you don't know whether they're good quality or not, try to find somebody on YouTube, use YouTube, who's purchased the item and who's done a YouTube review, and what are the positives and negatives of that item. That is the best way to know whether are you investing in something that's worth the money, or is it just crap. That person who bought that Capsule Noria air conditioner for $600 is like, that was a waste of money. I did something similar one time when I went to Bass Pro in Colorado Springs, and I was looking at this very unique machete that I wanted to add to my 72-hour survival bug out bag on the side of the bug out bag. And I took a picture of the make and model, went home, did a YouTube review search. I pulled that specific brand up, and they did 100 whacks, and then the blade broke from the handle because the blade was not full tang, which means it goes through the blade handle as well. With the whole metal piece goes through the handle, and so after 100 or so whacks, the blade broke from the handle. And so knowing that it was a piece of crap, it's not worth buying. So that's a good way to know, is this item, especially if it's newer generation item, is it worth the money of buying it or not, or is it just absolute crap? Let's see. So there's that. Other ways to save money and electricity and stuff is, so like I said, getting different types of LED bulbs, normal LED ones with the spiral ones as well. They cost more, but they'll make it where you're using less electricity. They last a long time unless you break them. Or even like LED Edison bulbs, they're a little bit more expensive, but I like them because they look cool, and I don't like super bright light. I like a little bit more dimmer light, and so I really like Edison bulbs. So worth spending the money on right away. And then let's see what else. Another alternative, I always have a bunch of these in like the bathroom drawers and then the kitchen as well. Half to full box of glow sticks. These are military chem lights. Some of them are 8 hours long. The blue ones are 8 hours. The green ones are 12 hours. And there's multiple other colors and all that. By having some glow sticks of all the power out in the area, and it's a super dark night and all that kind of stuff. You need a little bit of lighting. Glow sticks can really help you out until it's daylight again. Electricity comes back up. You got, of course, many different types of candles. These, little ones can last for 2.5 hours. You can get these at Walmart and Bed Bath & Beyond for a pack of 100. You can get, it's like $5 to $6. So highly recommend those. You got the larger ones, you got the even bigger ones, the scented ones, non-scented, scented, that's all up to you. And then here's another, 21st century, this was on Shark Tank before, it's called Luminaid, Luminaid, Luminaid. There's a couple different versions now, and then, they have one with colors, without, it's a solar panel, LED light, blow up, lantern. It has an energy indicator on there, USB plug-in to recharge your phone, and then different settings of light. So depending on, what level, the lower the light, the longer it's going to last, of course, and then even signal. They even have ones with, it's solid red, solid green, and now they have a newer one, hexagon one. Hexagon is like a cylinder with a hexagon-shaped solar panel on the top, and you can actually connect it to a app on your phone, and it has a circle on the phone that's multi-colors, and so you can change the colors within the lantern. It's good for power outages and or going into a dark garage or any of that kind of stuff for kids. For you can float in pools and everything, nighttime swimming in a pool or whatever, hot tub. These are about right around $50 currently, and I think the one with the LED changing colors is a little bit more than that. So there's that. Other than these items, another one I would highly look up the website BioLite. Love this company, BioLite, and a very good off-grid. Other than they have some of the most comfortable and efficient LED light headlamps. I think it's the Headlamp 330 is what they call it. I have one of the best headlamps I've ever had. So comfortable. Instead of all the weight of the flashlight with the batteries and all, this does not take batteries. It's a micro USB plug-in. The battery is in the back. The flashlight is flush against the forehead and goes up and down in the square format. With red light and LED light and low, medium, high, and like SOS flasher and all that kind of stuff. One of the best headlights I've ever had. Super comfortable. It's almost like putting on a little headband thing. You don't even know it's there. But for emergency LED, energy efficient that comes with solar panel and LED lights, string lights. You can put all over the place. Even motion detection. You can recharge this device. Recharge other electronic devices like phones and stuff while using this device. It's called, and it's $150. BioLite Solar Home 620, and then they also sell camp stoves with thermal electric generate energy battery packs. They have a full fire pit with a grill with an energy pack off to the side. They sell their own little battery packs. They sell little solar fold-out solar systems. BioLite is a great company. If you've never heard of it, look up some of their YouTube videos on BioLite camp stoves, kettle pots, and grill systems, and have a 2-liter teapot kettle looking thing that handles a thermoelectric generator, tap little LED light reading lights. It's a really great system. So good for off-grid, hiking, camping, emergency preparedness. They got some really great high quality stuff. And then let's see, let's go into rechargeable batteries. So instead of getting the normal, someone else gave these to me, the one-time use, Duracell, normal batteries, use it, throw it away. A couple years ago, decided to invest more into the Energizer rechargeable with the rechargeable plug-in battery pack. That all you do is if it's dead, you have to do 2 at a time. It takes the 9-volt, AA, AAA, C, D, all that, and then you put it in here, and then get 2 at a time, and then plug it in, and the green light will show up, and leave it on for multiple hours, and then pull the batteries out, put them away. If you wanted to go even more advanced, there's a newer type of batteries that are starting to come out hit the market. I'm thinking about maybe switching over to them. They're micro USB called Pale Blue batteries, and what it pretty much is they have all these different sizes: AA, AAA, C, D, 9 volt, all that, and then instead of putting it into like a recharger like this, it has a micro USB plug-in right here, and then the top, it'll be like a red color, and then it'll go green when it's fully charged. So Pale Blue, if you want to look those up, those were also on that Facebook website known as Interesting Engineering. And then they even have a USB plug-in where you can plug in like 5 or 6 batteries all at one time. So that's a pretty cool, nice system to have. Let's see. Battery organizer. If you have a bunch of batteries, instead of just throwing them in a drawer or Ziploc bags, for just a couple bucks from Amazon, you get a battery organizer for all the different sizes. These are AAA, AA, C's right here, Surefire, 9 volt D's, and I think there's even this little power charger indicator thing where you can put in a battery and see where it is it at, how full is it, so. Let's see. Another way to pretty much, save money in water usage pretty much is don't use a dishwasher. My last apartment had a dishwasher. I never used it. This apartment has a dishwasher. Never used it. I look at it as doing dishes by hand, having a drying rack, or using a towel and then putting them away or whatever. Whichever way you use to dry them, is you're using human energy instead of electricity that you have to pay for. You're not using a whole lot of water depending on how high you turn on the faucet. Do you keep it running or not? Do you keep it low? And all of that. But to me, washing dishes by hand, it teaches you discipline, it teaches you focus, it teaches you patience. It really compares to me like when I went through military basic training back in 2003, when we had the Woodland camouflage BDU uniform, and we had the black leather boots, and we had the cloth with the kiwi, and then we had to shoe shine our boots. Well, that taught us discipline, focus, and patience. Doing dishes by hand and then either drying them, putting in a drying rack does the exact same thing. Trust me, if I have kids, they're going to be washing things by hand. If it was up to me, I wouldn't have a dishwasher in this place. And then they are coming out with countertop dishwashers. There's like 5 different types out there right now. If you didn't know that, and you don't have a dishwasher, but you want a small one, if you have some counter space, or even under a cupboard or whatever, yeah, they have countertop dishwashers now. So you might want to look at those online. Different techniques for more water conservation. Now, this first one is kind of weird. It was done by a college student at Pikes Peak Community College who did it for an economics project, a research project for a whole semester to write a paper on it. And he come to find out and did a lot of research on it, on how if, whether it be mostly men, but also women can do it too, can pretty much, if you pee not in the toilet, but you pee in the shower drain instead, and then just quickly turn on the faucet to dilute it and let it go down the drain, much better. Instead of peeing in the toilet, because every time you pee in a toilet and then you flush, you waste a gallon of water. So it's either pee in the shower and turn on the water just really quick to get it down the drain, or you pee in the toilet, do not flush the toilet, and you just keep peeing and peeing and peeing until someone poops, and then you flush the toilet. If every single human being did that, we would save up to 11 gallons of water per year. So I know it sounds weird, but my next door neighbor actually told me of there's a saying that someone came up with. I'm trying to remember it. It's like, if it's nothing but yellow in the toilet, let it mellow. If it's brown, flush it down. So that's an interesting idea. It goes in line with it, but you are saving a lot of water, water usage and all that. And then there's also these new it was a Tinkle Bell, I think is what they call it. They're these silicone, horizontal shaped, almost like funnels for women to put down in that area, and then be almost like they have a funnel, penis almost, and can pee instead of squatting like in the camping area or whatever. If you go camping out in the bushes, they can pee like a guy, even go use a urinal if all they got to do is pee. And so then they could even use that in the shower, and so peeing in the drain. I know it sounds really, really weird, but it's there's the math statistics to prove that it works really well. You can save a lot of money in water usage, especially in the West Coast right now, where major drought. That's another thing we could do. So then another thing that I have installed into my kitchen, I also used in my last apartment. For $40 on Amazon, there's this item. It's called an altered nozzle. It's this thing right here at the bottom of the faucet where the water comes out. If you turned it from horizontal to vertical, it'd look like a metal teardrop. And so it's a switch, and you install it, and pretty much what it does is you turn on the water full blast, and you have it, the switch in one way, you got a full stream. But that full stream is not using so much water. It filters it and slows it down a bit, so that way it's saving 85% water. So you're only using 15% water that would actually normally be coming out without this device, and you're turning on the faucet full blast, wasting water. And then you flip it the other way, and it turns it to a light mist that's only using 2% of the normal water that comes out of the faucet. So you're saving 98%. It's kind of like that mist that you see at a grocery store when the little mist sprinkler system turns on to water down the vegetables in the vegetable aisle. So the altered nozzle, $40 from Amazon, if you want to decrease it. And I think you can use it for your bathrooms and stuff too, to start decreasing water usage, So there's that. This next water conservation technique I came up with myself a couple of years ago. And I started thinking about, bathtub water usage. And that's what this represents. This represents the bathtub, and this represents the wall drain of the bathtub. And it's kind of like the whole Archimedes thing. The bathtub is filled with water. When I was a little kid, I loved filling up as much as possible because it was like for being a little kid, it was like a pool, to me. But I wasn't the one paying the water bill. And then as I get older and have to pay the water bill, I start realizing that if I fill it to the top, and then here's my body mass, and I stick it in there, watch what happens if I fill the tub fully full. So that's my whole body in there. Look at all that water. And that's probably a good fifth to a quarter of the water that was in there that drained out of the wall drain. So now what I would do is, after the first time of being in the bathtub, I would not drain the bathtub water at the very end. I would let it sit until it calms down and it's no longer moving. Then I would get different colored tape, whether it be duct tape or it be electrical tape. Electrical tape I think works best. And if there's multiple people, different color per person, a color code system. So I might be green, the next person might be red, the next person might be black, the next person might be yellow tape. Take off just a little bit, little corner piece, and where that water line is, stick it, on probably the opposite corners, and stick it there, and from right now, for your major body mass, unless you majorly either put on weight or start losing weight, when you fill up the tub at that water level, you shouldn't fill it up beyond your colored tape water level. And then because now, if I only filled it up to this water level right now, I go back in, look at that. No water, drained from the wall drain. So that helps you so it's either at that water level or below it, but don't fill it up past it, and you'll save money in water usage instead of wasting all that excess water through the wall drain. We'll go into garbage. Before, I had the normal 30-gallon metal cylinder, very similar to this cylinder garbage can. I had that for multiple years, or even the plastic versions and all. The one thing I absolutely hated was that you spend money on these like Febreze garbage bags, and what would happen is it looks like it's full in the can. You pull out the garbage bag and it's only like maybe half full. I hated that. Drove me nuts. So now I went and got this Joseph and Joseph garbage can. I bought it from Bed Bath & Beyond a couple of years ago for $180. It might sell at other places or Amazon for a little cheaper than that. Joseph. And now, so it's, foot pedal, lid thing. There used to be this little thing right here where I could put like a Febreze little air freshener thing. That I think fell off and fell into the garbage. I can get a replacement though. But what this specialty can has, and this is a 35-gallon garbage can, you lift up this handle, you see the garbage here on the top, so it looks like it's getting full. It's a compression system. So now, you stick that down, do it maybe a couple of times. So now you're compacting your garbage, so it can pretty much hold 3 to 4 times more garbage. So that, looked like it was full, now it's 2/3 full. So then now when I do pull out the garbage bag, it's about 90 to 95% full every single time. Love this garbage can, highly recommend it. Unless there's another one that comes out electronically and compresses it even further down itself, that's the only other way that would be better. So, let's see, another thing I would go into, this is a Teavana cast iron teapot from Teavana, the store. I have a ton of their teas. I probably got over 30 different flavors of teas, which is, good for wintertime, good for, it's healthy for you. Instead of normal sugar, I use, I think this right here is a canister of German sugar cane, which you can also get big canisters from bags and canisters from Amazon and get it delivered. And German sugar cane is healthier than like white sugar and stuff to put with the tea, or no tea at all, and maybe do honey instead or something. But it has a dual purpose. So this tea stand and the cast iron could also be hot water for soup, hot water for oatmeal, an emergency situation kind of thing. But then there's another dual purpose. This little, small, for the mini little candles that are like $5-6 for a pack of 100, and this is, this little, I don't know what you call this, candle stovetop platform, and I did an experiment, and it worked really, really well, whether small cans or big cans, and preferably the cans where you can easily open it without a can opener. And so I had a thing of soup, put that right on top of the candle for about 45 minutes to an hour other than stirring it, and it was super hot, and I think it even boiled a little bit, and so I had hot soup out of a can, and then I could even maybe use the same can or something and put top ramen and stuff and hot water in here, and then get it going and all of that. So for an emergency situation, that could be really great. Now also on through Amazon, if you want to look up the branding of Ivation, they make a couple different like hand cranking LED light. A flashlight's a 9-in-1 version for your vehicle with a built-in radio, alarm, window breaker, seatbelt cutter, compass, USB charger, all that. Or then just a normal version that's like low, medium, high, SOS flasher, and it can go about. It has a solar panel on the very top flat portion of it, and it's hand cranking, doesn't take batteries. And that's about $30, $40, and it can also go 30 feet deep down. So LED flashlights instead of any kind that take batteries, in my opinion, is another better lighting source as well. Let's go into paying one's bills. A lot of people do not know this. Companies who send out paper bills and stuff, they charge you for sending out those paper letter bills. So more people need to get into the more technology way of paying bills. Go, create your profile, whether it's, your phone service, internet service, water, sewer, garbage, rent, anything, almost everything can pretty much be paid, online now. And set up your profile and go into the system and set up paperless billing, where the bill, instead of getting in the mail in a letter paper format, get it in your personal email or in text messages or both. If you do that and combine it with an auto pay, so you set up an electronic allotment where you're connecting the bill to either a checking account, savings account number, or a debit card or credit card. And so every single month when the bill is due, it will automatically charge that debit card or credit card, or charge your checking account or savings account. So by setting up auto pay, electronic payment, and paperless billing, where your now bills come in email or text message or both form, they will take anywhere, depending on the company, $5 to possibly up to $20 a month off the total bill. A lot of people don't know that, and so definitely set up paperless billing and set up auto pay, electronic auto pay. Now, another thing for saving money around people's birthdays, Veterans Days, if you're a veteran, other little holiday things like that. There are different restaurants and places that give free meals. So if I know Veterans Day, Texas Roadhouse have a listing of a decent sized plate of full meals. Other places it's appetizer, free appetizer, or a free dessert. I think like Clean Jumpers gave me a free dessert last birthday. Red Robin will have a listing of burgers and meals and stuff. Everything except for your drink is free and everything. So Veterans Day, birthdays, and all that for kids as well. And the only other thing I can really think of for like utility bill life hacks and everything to different ways to save money would be, it's more for the older generation of learning how to use technology properly. Stop paying old cable and old satellite payments. Really dig into those bills. Figure out what the hell you're paying for. And I've heard from college students at Pikes Peak who work for Comcast, Xfinity, CenturyLink, and other places, and they just charged them up the wazoo, sold them whatever they could, added additional things that the customers didn't ask for to make it where the monthly payments were more and more and more, and it's insane. I've heard stories where some people paying $300, $400, $500 a month for their internet cable system or satellite. It's insane. Most people who know how to use technology properly pretty much either pay right around $40 to $60 a month for internet, use only the internet or Wi-Fi, and that's it. If you have a smart TV like my mom does, we hooked it up to my Wi-Fi, and then I have a username and a password, and then we chose 2 channels, Paramount and CBS, and all together I think we pay about $16, $17 a month for those 2 channels. And then she has like 100 different TV shows for each of those channels and like 100 to 200 movies to watch. But then I do something else. I only pay $60 a month for internet. I use the internet only. Now I could be the type of person who pays for Hulu or something through the internet. But I have another process as well. I only pay internet, and then I use like Chili Torrent software with Kick-Ass Torrents or the Pirate Bay. It's kind of like uTorrent websites, which is like a Google website for downloading TV shows, music, and movies. So like brand new episodes of Supernatural, brand new episodes of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., of Smallville, Stargate, Star Trek, The Flash, Arrow, MacGyver, the old MacGyver and the new MacGyver, and many other things, and the new movies, eventually the Avengers movies, all the Star Trek movies, Stargate movies, Indiana Jones movies. It does not matter. And you use these websites, and you use the Chili Torrent software combined together, and you're downloading the TV shows and movies for free, and you just got to put them on an external, multiple terabyte external hard drive. Right here on my computer desk, which is the size of a VHS tape, one VHS tape size. This is an 8 terabyte external hard drive. So how I have it set up is this hard drive is hooked up to by USB hooked up to my laptop. I have a Bluetooth wireless mouse and keyboard hooked up to my laptop. I have an HDMI cable long enough to connect to the laptop all the way to the back of my television, 40-inch flat screen. And so pretty much my TV is now a 40-inch computer monitor, and all the TV shows and movies that I've downloaded are playing on my laptop, but I'm watching them through my TV, and the video and the audio comes through the TV. And so anybody who pretty much still wastes money on DVDs, you're wasting money. That money you're flushing down the toilet. You're just bleeding out money. Nearly every single movie and TV series and TV show episode and even music album, you gotta wait until like the DVD movie comes out on DVD, and then you're able to download it for free. Someone like me, you get yourself an external hard drive, give it to me, and I put all of my TV shows and movies and even music albums that I could download, and I put it on there for free. And so pretty much, you know, I have currently what I'm tracking about 160 TV series, nearly 200 movie trilogies, 850 individual movies, about 50 Hallmark Christmas movies, and about 30 normal Hallmark movies, is plus music, tons of albums. I probably got 200 different albums, and I didn't, you know, other than paying $60 a month for internet. And I pay for a VPN as well. That was like $100 for a year usage, 12 to 15 month usage. A VPN is a type of software that you put on your system. It's almost like, you know, a Norton virus software kind of thing. And what it does is it hides your IP address and bounces your IP address from here to another location like Los Angeles, New York, wherever I want to put it. And so they can't exactly track exactly where my IP address, internet address is. And so to tell me, oh, we caught you downloading, you can't download if you do it like 3 or 4 times in a row, we're going to disconnect your internet. So I pay for a VPN to protect myself from that, and then I pay $60 a month for internet, and I don't pay for cable at all. I don't think I've had cable in like 15 years or so. But all my TV shows, all my movies and trilogies and albums and everything I want is pretty much on this hard drive. This is a primary, and then I have a backup 8 terabyte external hard drive and a fireproof safety box in my bedroom of my closet, just in case at any point in time this primary one goes down. I have a backup so I don't lose everything. An 8 terabyte right now for on Amazon is right around $145, $148. That's 8 terabytes. I mean, this is enough TV shows and movies. It's 7 terabytes full right now. It's enough TV shows and movies to pretty much last you a lifetime. So, and I use VLC Media Player, which is the best media player. It's like universal for every formatted TV show and movie downloaded to be played on a computer through a computer hooked up to a TV. If you download, you have to download a specific format with the numbers 264 in the description of the TV show or movie in order, if you're putting on a hard drive and hooking that hard drive up to a smart TV for it to be able to play, you have to download a specific format number 264. It has to say in the title, and then that specific TV show, episode, or movie should be able to play by just hooking it up to a smart TV instead of through a computer hooked up to a TV. So that is everything that I have of utility bill life hacks. You know, newer 21st century products, off-grid capabilities, different ways to save money in electric, heating, water, and garbage, and possibly other areas. You know, even cooking, some, you know, canned soup, food, you know, heating and cooling systems, lighting systems, everything that I can possibly think of, garbage as well. In order to, you know, it's definitely that old saying of you got to be willing to spend money to make money. You got to be willing to buy the higher quality, more expensive garbage can, tornado fan, LED light bulbs, and all this other stuff to not only live a little bit more comfortably, but then it could save it where you're not having to waste tons more money on piece of crap garbage cans, piece of crap fans, you know, piece of crap light bulbs that give out a lot faster and they're using more electricity. It's all that kind of stuff. It's all about getting comfortable in your home and then constantly looking at every area, every angle, asking questions, buying things to implement things in your home to make a more efficient home that's costing you less and less in utility bills. That's what it's all about. So, and that's about everything I have. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a good day and a good summer. Take care.